Building resilient organizations in Western Africa is both a challenge and an opportunity. The field of resilience has changed significantly in West Africa over the past 2 decades, in part of due to increasing climate-related events, cybercrimes, and world economic forces. Faced with this increasingly volatile future, resilience professionals are working hard towards continued sector growth that heightens the profile of business continuity and strengthens the region's overall resilience. Building resilient organizations in West Africa is both a challenge and an opportunity, and this has been charted for some time, and a lot of talk around how this works, particularly in the African space. But let's talk to the Director General of the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, Mr. Adewale Oyerinde, to look at this issue of continuity and, of course, the task ahead of our new minister. Thank you so much, DG. It's good to have you in the studio.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon, viewers, and thank you for having us once again.
Yes, I think issue around this continuity, we've not been talking about this just today, but how well, let me ask, I think it's better I say that way, how well are we doing in this part of the world to stay the course, to be able to continue our businesses, so that when people go or when people die, their businesses don't die with them? Are we setting the right precedents to move on for us in this space?
Well, it remains a challenge. Basically, business continuity from different contexts, either from the context of a manufacturing or a multinational or even a limited liability company, continue in existence, remaining sustainable over a long period of time. And then from the context that you approached it, continuity within the context of a business owner continuing the engagement or his business outliving him, as it were. But we'll look at it from the context of business sustainability and business continuity at the global or national level. Are we doing very well? I think statistics show that we are not doing quite well. Are those elements contributing to the demise of these businesses? Are they inherent to the business, or are they contributions from the environment? We think it's more of the environment itself than the inherent issues that the business have. And it will take quite a lot of reorientation of regulators, orientation of legislators, orientation of everybody outside the business, without leaving the business out, before we can take the issue of business continuity and business sustainability more seriously. Because on the foundation of growth, as it were, I must confess to you, either at the national level or at the sub-national level, the foundation of growth rests on business continuity and business sustainability. That is absolutely the issue that we face now.
But it's important that we get it right, because if we don't, many businesses will just stay for some time and we don't have them again. What strategies do you think need to be put in place by business owners to ensure that they get to that point of sustainability and, of course, continuity?
For every business owner, when you are starting your business, the idea, basically, the foundational idea is, look, let me build a business that will outlive me, basically. Let me build a business that will not only become a unicorn, but also become a very big global brand. That is always the issues. But the reality of running a business, when it confronts you as a business owner, sometimes you start asking yourself, have you taken the right decision in starting a business? For business owners, with the opportunity that exists globally now, with the information that exists on how to keep your business sustainable, how to run your business, how to manage your finances, how to manage compliances, I think there's quite a lot that is available from institutions like ours, from global institutions, on how a business can run its course. Now, it's a different ballgame when it has to do with things you can't control. For the things you can control your issues, internal issues, but the environmental issues, when you have to deal with individuals, with agencies, that doesn't align with your vision, or which visions are distorted within the context of what exactly is the role of a business in national development. The ball game is actually a different context, as it was. So for us, the things that a business can control, an average business owner will control it to make sure that the business remains sustainable, that the business remains contributing to national development. But the things outside the business control, in relating with so many of those agencies, then those are different issues entirely. And those are the critical issues that can determine how long or how short, unfortunately, the existence of a business will be.
Interesting stuff. Now, we've seen that change in the cabinet, one way or the other. It went on for some time, but finally President Bola Tinubu came up to do that, a little bit of rejigging.
Absolutely.
And some were actually off, taken out totally, outrightly. Now, Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is one of the ministries that we now have a new person there. Not necessarily new. She's been in PEBEC. She's done a lot in that space, and now she's taken over the office. So you deal directly with these ministers in most cases. Tell us, what are your expectations? What are those things? What sort of conversations are we supposed to be having at the moment? Very importantly.
First, let's congratulate Dr. Jumoke Adewale again for the appointment, well deserved. Also, while we also congratulate all other new ministers, also want to mention the Minister for Labour and Employment. Congratulations, Honourable Minister. I think for the Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment, I think our work is quite cut out. And while she has enjoyed massive support and goodwill from stakeholders in the past, I think she also has significantly the stakeholders behind her. Because she has been inside, she understands the issues significantly, and now with more powers to influence and change things, we believe she can quite achieve quite a lot. She mentioned one of the reports that she will focus on promoting export and also attracting FDI among so many things. Beyond her, basically, and we hope the system will not frustrate our effort, are the things she has to deal with within the context of regulation. We forgot so easily that some time ago Coca-Cola's headquarters was in Nigeria, and over time they've moved to South Africa. We forget that Nestle used to be in Nigeria, the headquarters. Now they've moved to another country. We forget so easily that Michelin, Dunlop, they used to have very big presence in this place, and progressively they became foreign brands. Unilever, Google, many of those businesses, and GSK of blessed memory, also left unceremoniously. Those are the key issues, and those are the key issues that we need to face. Why are they leaving? Beyond the many issues that you might call internal instability that some of them you might say they have, but everything boils down to a large extent to issue of regulation. Issue of legislation, and the inhospitable environment that they need to play in. If you don't deal with those issues, then it becomes even much more difficult to attract the kind of investment that we should be attracting into this country. We might attract investment, but there is a scale of investment we need to actually turn this economy around. So if you need 10% interest, 10% FDI every month, and you are getting 3%. You are attracting investment, but the truth of the matter is you are not attracting the kind of investment that will kickstart this economy and make this economy to grow the way this government wants to grow. So for us, she needs to deal frontally. Probably in English, we need to step on toes to deal with some regulators. We need to address issues with legislators. And she might need to also face so many inherent issues that we have escalated in so many times. Sometimes you wonder if it's not becoming a broken record, and if businesses are not just accepting the reality, a reality that ordinarily we should not accept if we really want to grow this economy. So our work is quite cut out, quite enormous, but I must say she has the support and the cooperation of all stakeholders.
Indeed, she talked about exports. I'd like us to stay a bit on that. Talking about exports, the FCFTA is somewhere that we've talked about for months and almost even a year now. I'm not seeing us take very good advantage of the opportunities of this AFCFTA. Just the same way there was AGOA at a particular time. I just kept hearing about it, and I didn't see how well we harnessed these opportunities. So when we say improving exports, I'm looking at some deliberate decisions that should be taken that would actually make us get to where we should be. What are those things that you think can be done?
Promoting exports is a task that involves many other activities.
Yes.
Want to promote export, it simply means you make the local environment hospitable for manufacturing to grow, so that they can produce, not only produce for local consumption, they can produce to export. That is one. Two, within the context of raw materials, we must make the farms, we must make the agricultural sector also productive in such a way that they can produce, and the raw materials that we are not maximizing in the context of turning them into other products, we can export those raw materials. So when I want to say, if I say I want to promote export, that means I'm looking at addressing the regulatory bottlenecks that are stifling the businesses from maximizing their production capacity. I'm saying I want to address the issue of power. And in the last 1 month, we had the national grid collapsing almost 3, 4, 5 times. That means for me to make export, to promote export, I have to also deal with the issue of power, which is really out of the realm of our ministry. That means she has to liaise with the Ministry of Power to see what exactly are we doing. We need to supply power to these industries. Yesterday, there is a report about the number of unsold, the quantum of unsold stocks that we have in the market by the Manufacturers Association. So many issues out of the realm of our ministry. I've mentioned power now. I've mentioned security. I've mentioned there are regulators that are not within the confines of the Ministry of Industry. So we need to deal with first the issues within the ministry, and then she need to find a way around a proper alignment and coordination and support of those other ministries so that they can support the task of promoting export and attracting FDI. In a few days' time, the NYSC will be running a job fair. And you have thousands of Nigerian youths graduating, leaving the NYSC and coming to the job market. Then the question we've not asked ourselves is, which offices, which companies
will absorb this?
Are they going? If we continue to create bottlenecks, unnecessary, ridiculous bottlenecks for these organizations, for them, that making them unsustainable in the short, medium, and long term, then where will the thousands of Nigerian youths, where are they going? Are we running job fairs for just job fair's sake? So by reason of a regulator's activity, insensitive activity, you have created problem for the Ministry of Labor because crisis with the issue of unemployment. You have created problem for the Ministry of Industry because the factories are closing down. I've mentioned 3 big organizations that have left Nigeria and relocated their headquarters to some other places. We are not worried. We seem not to be worried about the things that are that should be our priority. And those are the concerns that we have, and those are the issues that the new minister we have to deal with. Quite unfortunate.
Moving forward, we have 2 minutes to wrap up this segment. What are your highlights for the end of the year? It's November. 2 weeks almost to the end of this month, and we're talking about December now. Manufacturers are talking about stocks not being sold. What's your outlook for 2025?
Well, once you can breathe to the end of the year, then you'll have had some wins. But our expectation really is this, and it's quite important for us to state this. We have regulators that are still working at cross purpose with this administration's key objective of growing this economy. We have regulators that have taken it as a stock in trade to either frustrate the business because they want to generate revenue. And those are concerns for us. Even when you have the prerogative to slam penalties, and for me, it's common sense. Will I rather slam penalties and allow the business to close down because I want to generate revenue? It's not rocket science. I think we should temper the application of these regulations, of this penalty, with some level of consideration. So that what do we gain if I slam you 10 million naira or $10 million as penalty, and the consequences for the business? The business either shuts down, relocates to other climes to produce. And you mentioned the AFCFTA, which is an opportunity for us and also a big risk. So I think there should be an alignment of all these issues with these regulators so that the businesses can breathe well before the end of the year, so that the unsold stocks that are building up in shops and stores, that those unsold stocks can go down, because if the disposable income of an average Nigerian or the household doesn't increase, then it has consequences for those stocks. And if those stocks are not sold, it has serious consequences for the business, and it has consequences for this economy, big time.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Mr. Adewale Oyerinde, the Director General, Nigerian Employers Consultative Association. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having us on again.
All right, then. Well, coming up